So welcome in everyone. I've decided to begin this little video series. It's going to be an emulation type series. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to study another maker. I'm going to watch their processes and how they go about doing things and getting done the things that obviously all makers struggle with. And I'm going to attempt to emulate their process and how they go about getting things done. One of my favorite makers of all time, and he's world renowned. He's no longer alive, which is unfortunate, and I really wish I lived in his era. His name is Bob Loveless. I don't know that I'll ever find anyone out there that is better at the process or describing the process than R.W. Loveless. He makes amazing knives, and they're revered to this day to be some of the finest cutlery known to man. You have a hard time finding a Loveless knife for sale, let alone anywhere near where you may live. So, and they, the price point for those, they start in the thousands, some of them the tens of thousands. So I'm gonna attempt one of his processes today. I really love the way he does things and goes about doing things, and I love some of the styles and designs that he's come up with in the past. So I am going to attempt his hollow grind method. I know he's not, a rat tang kind of person. He was always a full tang, or normally a full tang kind of guy, but I'm going to attempt his hollow grind process on this hidden tang knife. So I'm going to go ahead and lay out the edge and get that figured out, and then I'm going to move over to my 2x72, and I'm going to go ahead and grind up to the layout lines and see if I can use the knowledge that I've developed over the years to try and integrate some of his skill into this blade. All right, keep watching. All right guys, you can see here I do have two of these blades cut out. They're identical to each other in shape and size. I had an order for one and I loved it so much that I'm actually going to make myself one. So I'm going to work on this one here for today, and you can see I've got it ground to where the grain is running side to side, so this way. If you have it ground, rough ground, to where the grain of the steel is running the length of the blade, then sometimes when you do the layout, you'll have an issue with your layout bit, whatever it is you use to scribe your lines. You'll have an issue with it slipping into one of those grooves, and you don't get an accurate layout mark down the length of the blade. So I always make sure that I cross grind when I'm doing my profile. That way I can get an accurate layout line all the way down the center of the blade. We're going to be using the double line system, so I'm going to do some quick measuring here and I'll be right back. Just another quick note here guys, so I like to leave about 40 thousandths, and that's what 40 thousandths looks like. I like to leave about 40 thousandths going down the center of the blade when I do my rough bevel. And what that does is leave me enough meat on the thickness of the center of the blade, so when I heat treat, it's not going to warp. So just that quick note, that's something I like to do, and it helps me be successful in getting a good heat treat. Okay guys, so what we came up with is a 0.185 thickness on this steel. So that's an overall thickness. And you remember I told you I like to leave 40 thousandths worth of blade down the center. So I'm going to subtract that 40 thousandths from that number, and I come up with 145 thousandths. And I'm going to divide that by 2 because I want 2 lines. So I get 72 thousandths. So I'm going to set my digital micrometer to 72 thousandths. Here we are. And then next I'm going to go ahead and put layout fluid on the edge of my knife blade so I can scribe the line at 72 thousandths down both sides. For this we're going to use Dichem Steel Blue layout fluid. I don't always use this. Sometimes I use a Sharpie marker. It really just depends on where I'm at and what I've got available to me. Now, An upside to the Dicam is you do get a very clear, precise scribed line. A downside is it does take a few minutes to dry, whereas Sharpie tends to move a great deal faster as far as the drying process is concerned. So you can see we've got Dicam all the way down to the tip, and we're just going to give this a few minutes to dry. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Now, one of the things that Mr. Loveless uses that, well, a couple of the things that I don't have. I don't have a fancy granite bench block, and I don't have the dial height gauge that he used to lay out lines on most of his blades. So I have to improvise. I can either use a drill bit in this situation, if it lines up with the thickness that I'm looking for, or I can use my digital caliper, which is what I'm going to be using today. So what we do is we just rest one side against this side here of the blade, and we go from the heel all the way to the tip. I always make sure that that line is nice and clear. You don't want to be over there on the grinder having a hard time seeing it. Right, so there's the one side, here's the other. Now, one thing, if anybody out there has ever seen the R.W. Loveless videos, one thing he swears by is using carbide tipped calipers and gauges and things like that. And 100% I agree with him. Carbide, way better than steel for anything like this. However, typically on the lower end models of these dial calipers, or even the digital micrometers like I'm using, you're not going to get a carbide tip. You're going to get a hardened steel tip, which is fine. It's okay to use when you're using layout fluid, things like that. Now, if you're trying to scribe in the steel, then you're going to need something harder than the steel, obviously. So carbide is an excellent choice. It's definitely the way to go. When I'm freehand scribing lines or with a ruler or something of that nature, I do use a carbide scribe, and this is the one that I use. And I believe that I found this on Amazon. It was like 20 bucks. Works pretty well. All right, onto the scribe lines. You can see that I've got 2 lines scribed right down the center of that blade, and that I've got about 40 thousandths left there in the center. And that is what we were shooting for. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set up the grinder, get my safety gear ready, and we'll be right back. It's that way. All right, guys, we're back. All right, so as you can see, I did go and don my safety gear. I try to use an apron. This is made out of wax canvas, also ordered from Amazon. It's held up great, and I can't burn holes in it with the grinder, which is great. And it protects my pants and my shirt, jacket, anything I might be wearing. Oakley safety glasses, these things are great. They were issued by the military, and I still wear them today. And I also wear some cut resistant gloves. Obviously they're not going to stop me from grinding my whole finger off, but they will prevent me from just the occasional nick with the edge of the grinder belt or something of that nature. And they stop me from cutting myself on the burr, like if the knife has a burr on the edge of it. So I do try and wear my safety apparel anytime I'm up here with the grinder. Also, I would like to thank the company that makes this grinder. It's made by Braid. They're a US-based company based in California. They've got all sorts of different attachments and accessories for this thing. They've been an absolutely amazing supplier to work with when it comes to grinders and grinder parts.
Super friendly, great customer service, quick shipping, returns. If something breaks down, they're real quick to jump on it and want to get it fixed. So I strongly endorse Braid and everything that they believe in. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and grind down to the lines. That's right. Oh, there we go.
All right, so that's the first step of the process, getting it ground down to the point which the bevel meets the scribe lines on the edge of the blade. That way, when I set my primary bevel, when I set my primary hollow grind, I know where to stop. So basically, we grind in this short bevel real quick, and then we use the contact wheel and we scribe the rest of it, or we grind the rest of it all the way to where we want the bevel to stop up near the spine. All right. Okay guys, thanks for watching. In the next video, I'm going to go over how to go ahead and set the primary hollow grind. So it's going to be back on that amazing Ameribraid machine that I've got tucked over in the corner. Thanks for watching this far. I hope you've either learned something or enjoyed watching me. I love learning. That's why I watch all these videos that I watch and talk to all the makers that I possibly can, because I love new information and I love doing things as quickly and efficiently and professionally as possible. So thank you guys for watching. I hope I've helped, or at least entertained. All right, until next time.